I previously made a video on the cheapest Caribbean destinations from Trinidad and Tobago from 1500 TT. Guys, I've been having a look at flight prices and we're going to need to change plans. My plan was to find the cheapest destinations based on the long weekends available. The flights are not as cheap as they used to be, so I will tell you some of the cheapest destinations that I found by the month. Hey, welcome back to this Trini Will Travel. I'm Keisha, Trini, currently living in Milan. If you're interested in travel, especially from a Caribbean perspective, then go ahead and subscribe. And also comment down below the type of topics that you're interested in hearing about. And let's get into today's video. Y'all, I've been checking the flight prices based on the holidays, based on long weekends. I made a video with all the long weekends in Trinidad and Tobago in 2025 because, that's how I would get to use less vacation days and plan a vacation around that. The flights are not as cheap as they used to be, so this video is sort of like an update. I'm not going to go into it how I did it in the other video, but I'll just share some of the cheapest prices and the months that I found them because what? So basically, the last time I made the video, you could have traveled to, let's call it like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, sometimes Barbados, and Grenada. Grenada, surprisingly, Grenada I think is the closest and it's the most expensive. But yeah, between 1500 to 1700, 1800 TT could have gotten you a return flight. I haven't seen anything below $1,600. So anyway, let's get into it. These are some of the cheapest flights from Trinidad and Tobago in 2025, and a lot of them weighs heavily on you having a US visa, so that's kind of like annoying. In February, which is almost finished, sorry guys, we have Puerto Rico, which is $1,010, Philadelphia for 1200 TT, Miami 1300, and New York also around 1300 TT. So those are the three cheapest destinations in February. Then in March, kind of like the same roster: Puerto Rico, New York, Philadelphia, Orlando, and Miami, all ranging between 1000 to 1300 TT. And there was a flight to Puerto Rico for like 800 TT return. That's an option in March. I didn't put the dates because I just looked at it by the month just to see some of the cheapest flights. And then when this route wasn't working, I said, okay, let me put in the destinations and see when was the cheapest time. So I basically put in a destination and checked all the months to see which month was the cheapest. So these are some of the cheapest times to visit these countries. I checked for Barbados. The cheapest time to visit Barbados was in May, and the price is 1900 TT. Also in September, it was about the same cost. Actually, let me not say 1900, it's like 1920. In May and September were the cheapest months to visit Barbados. Then September, the cheapest months were May and March. In May, it is 2100. Well, actually no, let's call it 22 because it's 2190. And then in March, it's 2205. Grenada is cheap in May and in August. So in May it's 1663, and in August it was 1661. And then St. Vincent, the cheapest month was also May, which was 1776 TT. So basically there were no flights for 1500 to go to the Caribbean, and surprisingly it was the reverse because Grenada was one of the most expensive, and now we have cheaper flights to Grenada. So at least you can go to Grenada for like let's call it 17 because it's 1661. Yeah, let's call it 1700. So basically the cheapest flights are from 1700, and yeah, all the other months or all the other times they were above 2000. So I don't know, guys. I was saying that I was probably spoiled, or like I'm looking at the flight prices and I'm like, no, this cannot be. Those are some of the cheapest flights from Trinidad and Tobago in 2025. So do you have any plans to visit the Caribbean or any Caribbean countries? And if you don't mind sharing, comment down below so other persons can have an idea of how much it costs to visit certain Caribbean islands. And if you want to see, like, I've done videos on how to plan a vacation. I've done a plan with me, so basically going through the steps that I shared and actually doing it in person. But if they're, well, in person, but like a step-by-step. So if there's a particular country that you're interested in me doing, comment down below and I'll try to do that. But y'all, Puerto Rico seems like the place, but unfortunately you need a US visa. So if you don't have a US visa, then it's out of the question. But that's not going to stop us from traveling, because we also have staycations, and Tobago is Trinidad and Tobago. It's beautiful. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. But anyway, I hope that this video was informative. I hope that it can help you with your plans or knowledge of when you're making your plans. And safe travels until next time.